Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be sharing with you more on how to utilize the quiz statistics in order to find out more information on your students' performance. I'll be using the module Storycraft as an example. So head on over to your module, and in order to assess the quiz statistics, I'll be showing you two ways to do so. The first method is to click on Assignment and Assessments, and then click on Quizzes, and select the quiz which you want to analyze. In my case, I'll be using stereotype or archetype. Click on the chevron, then click on statistics. And this would be the main page where you can drag out most of the information from. Okay, now let me head on back to the main module page to show you the other method. So the other method is just simply by clicking on the dashboards on the far most right hand corner. Click on Quiz Statistics and Analysis. And as you can see over here, this would be our quiz. And once you click on that, you'll be redirected to the same page. Okay, so now for this interface, I'll be going through each tab and explaining them what they actually mean and what information you can drag out, all of them. So first off, user statistics. This basically shows how well each student has performed, their performance in percentages. And hold on, let me clear that first. And this just gives an overall view of all the students within the module itself. So for this module, there's about roughly around 400 students. And we can see here the percentages of uh, roughly how much they had scored. So around like 30% of students have scored around at least 100 marks. Most of them are in the 75% range, so that is good. So it just leaves us with a bunch of students, maybe about 5% who aren't performing as well. And let's say if you want to filter through just to have a rough overview on how well your particular class is doing, let me just show you how. So as you can see over here for the naming conventions in Brightspace, it's denoted by the first name as well as the last name. The first name actually means refers to the student's full name, as you can see over here, and their last name is actually their class number, which class they're from. So let's say if you want to find out more about students in class 02, I'll just have to select this over here and then put that inside here, paste it, and then click on the magnifying glass to search. And this should reveal to us the full number of students within class 02. And just to be sure you didn't miss out any students, typically I would prefer to set the number of students, viewable students, to 200 per page, just in case you have students exceeding the number 20. So if you have 22 students, then those extra two students might be left out. Okay, so you can briefly see which students are performing well and which students might need a bit more help. But the problem with this method is that you can't sort the percentages in order. So this leads me to the next point, which I'm going to show you, is that there's this feature we can export this data into Excel. So let me click on Export to Excel and show you what does it look like. Okay, let me open the Excel. Okay, so this is what Excel would be like. And as you can see here, it shows you all the students within this module. So if you want to do more filtering, you can do so over here within Excel by just clicking on Data, then click on Filter. Then as I mentioned earlier about the last name refers to which class they're in. So we can filter according to last name, and let's say I want to click and see students in class 02, we can do so. Okay, we click over here and we can see which students have performed well or which students need help. So if I want to filter accordingly to the scores, I can click on here and click sort A to Z. This shows the lowest number to the highest number accordingly. So you can see over here, these few students might need a bit of help because they've scored 4 out of 7, which is around 57%. And that's pretty much it for the first part for user statistics. Now moving on to question stats. Okay, so for question stats and question details, they are roughly almost the same. For question stats, it shows you the total percentage of students who have attempted the quiz and how many of them have answered correctly for each question. So if we scroll down over here, we can see that for question 2 and question 4, generally students have typically gotten these two questions wrong. Only 30% of students have gotten it right for question 2 and 58% have got it correct for question 4. And if we export to Excel, we would see uh, the data similarly. So let me open that to show you what it looks like. Okay, similarly, we can see over here in the Excel sheet that for question 2, only 30% of students have got it right, and 58% of students have got it right for question 4. So perhaps when you go through during class, you might want to review, you can review these two questions with the students. Okay, just another note over here. For the class averages here, what they're referring to for each tab is that they're referring to the overall students within the class module. So even if, let's say, previously you filtered to select only students in class 2, this actually just shows everyone within the class, so, everyone within the course. So it's not class average, but rather everyone performing, everyone's performance within this module. So it's just a bit of their own naming conventions. Okay, let's go back to question details, the last tab. So for question details, it's more of a detailed breakdown. We can see how many students have answered during their first attempt here. And we can see for each question, which answers did the students typically select. As you can see for archetype, 148 students answered accordingly. And very little students have answered both, only 14 students. And over here, the blue arrow denotes the correct answer. Okay, you might have noticed that there might be a bit of a discrepancy with the total number of students who have answered for question 1, which is around 160, let's just give a ballpark number, 160 plus students. And the total number of first attempts is 386. So the reason for this is because uh, when I had released the quiz to the students, I went to change uh, question 1. So this caused a discrepancy in the data being collected on Brightspace's end. So just a note of caution, please do not change your quiz questions after you have released to the students. So make sure you have everything done and prepped up before releasing the quiz out. If not, you might have some missing data. As you scroll on here to question 3, you can see that most of the students answered stereotype, which is correct, so not an issue. But then, as you can see over here, only 58% of students have got it right for question 4. And this breakdown is a good way to show the students during class if, let's say, you have set your quiz settings not to review the results and answers to students. So using this interface here, you can just share with your students and explain with them why is this answer and why is their selection wrong. And if we click on to export to Excel, the breakdown is similar. I'll just show you guys once again. So as you can see over here, it shows you the number of students who have selected which particular answer option. So checked is referring to the correct answer for question 1 over here. And as you can see, 148 students have answered archetype and 14 students have answered both accordingly. Okay, before I wrap this video up, just like to show one more uh, way to drag out information from your students. It's more of a detailed breakdown compared to question stats and question details. And in order to access this, we have to go back to Manage Quizzes, then click on the chevron again, and now instead click on Grade. And once we're here, when you click on Export to Excel, this shows you uh, the total number of attempts for each student. If you set the quiz to, let's say, 2 attempts or maybe even unlimited attempts, this shows you everything the student has done or clicked within the quiz, as well as which option answer they have selected for each question. So it's a very comprehensive breakdown. So let me click Export to Excel so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so opening it now. And this one you can sort it according to class as well. So as you can see here for this student, this is his first attempt here, and this would be his second attempt. So he has completed around 2 attempts for this quiz. So we can look at his first attempt, and as we scroll on to the right side, for question 1, we can see that he got it correct based on the score over here. It's 1 out of 1. And then he had ticked the answer option, which is archetype, accordingly. And as we scroll down to the following question, I think it's question 4, he got it wrong. So his score is 0 out of 1, and he had ticked archetype instead. And that's about it for reviewing the quiz statistics on Brightspace. In order to see how many students have not attempted the quiz, I'll be doing this in another video. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you.